This is a quick summary of the nightmare dilemma with belt failures on the six-cylinder BMW engines from 2006 and up. So what happens is a couple reasons. Actually, the belt tensioner, the wheel that the belt spins on, is one reason. The other very common reason is the oil leaks from the oil filter. That's the oil filter. This is the oil filter housing. And the cooler, there's a couple gaskets or rubber seals around here that, are rubber. They get hard and they no longer contain oil because they don't have enough pressure. They become like plastic. And the oil leaks down onto the belt. The belt is rubber. It does not like oil. It softens it up and it shreds the belt into pieces. When the belt falls apart, it wraps up around the crank pulley. There's a wheel here for the belt spins on. It goes behind that and it jams itself into the crank seal. So this is the seal that is supposed to contain the oil in your engine, and it literally corkscrews itself right around the crank pulley and gets forced in through the engine. So two possible things occur when this happens. If it makes its way through, there's a timing chain that wraps around behind the engine cover here, and that keeps the engine in time. If that belt makes its way through and interferes with that chain, it'll make that chain skip a tooth, and then the engine timing is thrown off. That's one problem. If you're unlucky, you'll have the second problem as well, where it'll go through and make its way into the engine and end up in the oil pan. This is the bottom of the engine. Oil pan is down here. The crank seal is here. The timing chain is up here. It'll work its way in, get sucked in to this oil suction right here. It sucks the belt up. You can see the belt's literally sticking out of this engine. And when they get sucked out, they go up and clog the oil pump, and you lose oil pressure. You lose oil pressure, you lose your engine. These are the chunks of the belt that were removed from inside the oil pan, believe it or not. And there they are, a closer view of them sucked up inside of there, clogging the oil suction. So if you have a belt failure, it's worth every dollar, especially if the crank seal was damaged up there. It's worth every dollar to pull your pan and clean out the sump. You can't even clean this properly. You really have to change it because you can't see up in there. Not a lot of money for that part. Once you've gone that far, it's another $50 or so. But I figured I would share with you here the exact explanation what happens. Another little close-up of that situation. And again, I think this is what you saw. So hopefully this was helpful to explain the BMW belt tensioner failure or oil. If you ignore an oil leak on the top of the engine, the front of the engine, oil housing, you don't want to ignore these leaks, or else you will be paying a bigger price, such as engine failure.